Oh, happy Easter. How we doing? What's up? Oh boy, one day and I felt like I've been away from you forever. OMG, how we doing, everybody? Slow clap for you people being patient for me. If you saw it on the Discord, I am back. How are we doing? Hope everybody's decorating Easter eggs. They're making carrot cake downstairs by me. The family's taken care of. Everybody's having fun. Hello, everybody. Let's get into the clips. I got some clips. There's some clips that were floating around that I was gonna put up, but we've seen it a million times, and on my show, we don't recycle. So let's rock and roll. What's up, Welsh News Network? What's up, guys? These are a new addition to the Time Serve fam. If you haven't seen them, go subscribe to them. They are very cool. They do the Sov Sit. They are hilarious. It's no holds barred on their channel. They stream for hours. They're like warriors. I'm like half asleep listening to them. It's Becca and Dan, and they have other people on. I was attracted to them because of Blue Bear. I was watching Blue Bear, and he's on there live. So if you follow Blue Bear, he's crazy too. So follow them too. Subscribe. Just have fun. We're at 6.3 thousand in only 2 months. It's crazy. So let's get going. Let's have a little fun with my man Wilford Johnson and Mr. Judge Cedric J. Simpson.
Assistant Public Defender with and on behalf of Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, could you please state your name for the record?
Wilford Johnson.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, did you receive any of the messages that I had sent?
No, I did not.
Okay, I'm unsure if we have the correct contact information for you.
My phone number is 734.
Hold on. No, I don't want you to say it online. Hold on a moment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
If you could
I'll
call our
adjourn this
office.
matter. I'll adjourn this to April 17th,
Thank you.
2023, 1 p.m. Okay, Mr. Johnson, I need you to contact the Public Defender's Office. Do you have that phone number, sir?
I think it's 222. Hold on, I think I got it on this paper somewhere.
Got it somewhere.
222-6970.
No, I got 222-6620.
Love him.
Or
I
I
don't
got
know who that is.
226970.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's our office. Call and
970.
anybody who answers the phone, just let them know that you want to update your telephone number with our office.
Okay.
Okay, make sure that you give them a telephone number and an email address. All right.
Okay, can I ask you a question, please?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Is this stuff about a Stacy Truant? Because she's done violated.
Mr. Johnson, we can discuss that, okay?
Questions about the case, sir?
Oh,
Call
Sorry,
her
I
up and get
gotta-
that number
I gotta-
updated. And
I gotta
I'll
Talk to your,
the lawyer?
Mr. Johnson,
yes.
talk to your attorney before you
Okay.
address anything to the court, okay?
Okay,
About the
okay.
case. All right, thank you.
Yep.
We'll see you on the
And what was that
17th. Bond continued.
Would they give me
17.
paperwork on the date?
Yes, they will.
All right, thank
Actually,
you, sir.
because you're at the service center, you can, we'll get the file down there and they can give you paperwork at the counter.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank-
Why don't I see any Simpson emojis getting flashed? Let's go. It's Easter. Let's roll. Let's get some Simpson emojis going, people.
Thank you. Court calls the case, the people
Monica!
versus Christina Nichols.
Caitlin Kirby on behalf of the people.
Sylvana Reed, Assistant Public Defender with and on behalf of Ms. Nichols. Ms. Nichols, could you please unmute and state your name for the record?
Yes, Christina Nichols.
And Ms.
Oh,
Nichols,
there
have you been able to receive the messages that I sent?
iPhone too.
No, I did not.
Mass confusion.
Okay, so I believe
Love
it's
it.
probably the same case in this matter. We probably do not have the correct contact information for you. If you could call our office and update that information as soon as possible so that we can discuss your case.
Okay, do you guys have my email?
All right, Miss Nichols, do you
Yes.
have the public defender's office number?
My belief so, yes.
Okay, 222-6970. You need to
Yes.
call there immediately after getting off of this proceeding. You need to give them a valid phone number and a valid email address. Understood?
Okay.
Thank you. I'll adjourn this matter April 17th, 2023, 1 p.m. Bye.
Okay, now we haven't seen Judge David Goggins on the show in a while. He had a doozy. No one plays Goggins. He's hysterical. I love him. He doesn't even try to be funny. I don't know why people don't play him. I'm like the only guy that plays Goggins. If you guys know of anybody else, but I love Goggins. This was a contractor, but he was working for the city and just arguing, and Goggins is just playing like referee. And if you know what Goggins does, he plays everybody. He wants to be everybody's friend. He hangs out with the homies. Remember the clip I had where he's pouring out a 40 for his boys? Let's get rocking and rolling. This is a good one.
Not at this time.
Okay, so Mr. McElmurray, what I'm going to ask you to do, you got to raise your right hand for me. Get your hand raised.
Yes, sir.
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Ms. Doyle, you can proceed at this time then.
Thank you, Honor. Mr. McElmurray, will you tell the court where you're employed?
Montrose Charter Township.
Okay, and let me back up. Will you state your name and spell your last name for the record?
I'm sorry. William McElmurray, WILLIAM MC, capital ILMURRAY.
And you said you're employed in Montrose Township. In what capacity?
Mike.
I am the building official code enforcement officer.
And in that capacity, do you have occasion to write tickets for code violations?
I do.
How long have you been doing that?
Welcome, Amazon girl.
Montrose Township, 2 years.
Okay, and before that?
7 years.
Becca!
Are you familiar with Mr. Keith Johnson?
Yes.
And can you tell me the property at which he resides?
10074 North Seymour Road.
And is that in Montrose Township, Genesee County, state of Michigan?
Yes, it is.
And how are you familiar with that property?
With a violation of the building code.
And has the township adopted an ordinance which adopts by reference the building code?
Yes, they have.
Okay. Now, did something occur to that property, to your knowledge, back in the winter or so of 2022?
Yeah, on or around November 28th, there was a vehicle that left the road and impacted the south wall of that, the residence.
And was there, to your knowledge, was there extensive damage to that residence?
Yes, there was.
Okay, and I'm going to show you what's been marked as, and Your Honor, I have in the file proposed exhibits that should you admit them, they are in your file marked as such. I don't know, sir, can you see the screen, Mr. McElmurray?
I can see you, yes.
Okay, can you see what I'm holding up?
No, it's blurry at this time.
Let me see if I can make it better.
It's gonna be hard. Yeah, I can't see it either way.
Because I'm gonna need the respondent to be able to see it too. So let me make sure that there we go. Nope, there. How's that?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay. Can you see the second page? This
Dan's in
exhibit
here
I
too. What up,
proposed
Dan?
is 6 pages.
Yes.
Are you familiar with these photographs?
Yes, yes, I provided them to you and the court.
Did you take these photographs?
I did indeed.
And what are these photographs of?
The property damage of the south wall of the house in question.
And when about did you take those photographs?
The first was on 11/28 of 22.
Okay. Now, these 6 photographs, do they accurately depict what you observed on that day?
Yes, they do.
And that is at the property at 10074 North Seymour Road.
That is correct.
Seymour
Your Honor, at this
butts.
time,
So
I would ask for admission of plaintiff's proposed exhibit 1.
Mr. Johnson, kind of get at a disadvantage here. Did you see those photos, or do you?
Yes,
have a-
I
did they
yes, I
provide
did,
you with-
Your Honor. I sure did.
Okay. Any objection to me looking at those photos that have been provided?
Yes, I do. First
Okay,
of all,
let's
he-
get,
those
Go ahead and
pictures
give me just-
don't show nothing. They just
Here we
show
go.
plywood over a damage. That's all it shows. Doesn't show any of the damage whatsoever to the house. Doesn't show any structural damage, and it doesn't show anything that the defendants are claiming that happened to my house.
okay, and I understand what you're telling me with regard what they made showing the photos, but as far as me being allowed to look at them, just look at them.
No, I have no
Any
objection
objection
to
to
you seeing those. Nope.
Okay, so, okay, as long as you know what they are, then, in, this is Exhibit A, Ms. Doyle?
That's, I have 1, but A is fine, whichever the court prefers. Exhibit A.
Oh, it's, you got it marked as Exhibit A? I got an exhibit, we can mark it as Exhibit A, that's fine. It looks like Mr. Johnson understands what the photos are, he sees those photos, and I've got him here. I'll grant the, admission to Exhibit A, the 6 photos, it looks like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes,
And
the
Mr.
6
Johnson, I'll
photos-
give you a chance to argue about those too, okay? So we'll place those over. Exhibit A is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Mr. McElmurray, did you send a notice to Mr. Johnson regarding these photos you took?
Yes, I did.
And what did the notice indicate?
It indicated that he was in violation of the state construction code under Public Act 230.
Okay. Did it ask him to cease and desist from any construction?
It did.
Okay. And does this photo, I don't know if you can read this.
I can, yes,
Okay, what is this that I'm holding up?
It's up to
that
you.
is the notice
Mama tried.
of violation that I did send.
Okay.
A
And you
copy
sent that-
of it.
And you sent that notice on the date of February 8th?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And Your Honor, I would ask for admission of the notice sent on February 8th.
Mr. Johnson, any objection to that
No.
being
No, Your
admitted?
Honor.
No?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. People's Exhibit, we'll just use letters, I guess. B is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
And did you put a stop work order along with that?
On February 8th, yes, I did.
Okay. So I'm showing you what's marked as plaintiff's proposed Exhibit C. What is this?
That is a photo of the notice of violation and stop work order
And when did you take these pictures?
dated February 8th of 2023.
And in that same exhibit, did you also take this picture? Hold on. Let me get it.
Yes, I did.
And what does that picture show?
Can you put that back up? I'm sorry.
Yes. So, and then this is the second photo, or the next photo.
That photo shows the block work, construction work being done without a permit. Foundation work.
Okay. And then the next photo. Is that similar?
Yes,
And then again,
yes,
in that similar photo shows more of what you described.
yes, the work being done without a permit.
Okay. And then finally, this last photo. Did you take these photos?
I did.
And do they accurately depict what you saw on February 8th, 2023?
Yes, they do.
Your Honor, I'd move for plaintiff's proposed C.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, any objection to that being?
Yeah, I
admitted?
object to those pictures because at that point he was trespassing and he was already ordered not to come on my property. So I object.
Okay. Okay, so, and I understand the objection based on what you think they represent, but any reason why I shouldn't look at them?
No,
Okay, and I'll give you a chance to argue about them, but people's exhibit, and we're using letters now, I guess. Exhibit C is admitted.
C, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, goggies.
Now,
You
Mr.
trickster.
McElmurray, I'm going to show you,
Goo goo for
after
goggies.
you notified him on February 8th, did construction activities cease at that point?
No, they did not.
I'm going to show you another photo. This one is proposed D. Can you describe what that depicts?
That was work done, siding work being done without a permit on February 13th, 2023.
And is that a similar picture depicting the same?
Yes, it is.
And did you take those pictures?
Thank you.
I did.
And when did you take those
Pantyless
pictures?
Army. We're pantsless
On
in the Discord.
February
You guys fit
13th,
right in.
2023.
And this
My
was after
Discord
you
is-
notified him of the citing work, of the stop work order?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I'd move for admission of plaintiff's proposed D.
Hey, Mr. Johnson, and I understand the arguments about what
Daylight.
it shows. Any objection
Nope.
to the admission?
no objection.
Okay. Okay, exhibit D will be admitted.
And at some point, that work became complete, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and was a building permit ever obtained?
You got it,
No, it
Trish.
was not.
Okay. I had two other exhibits, but I don't think they're necessary. I'm just going to show you one last one. Can you tell the court what that picture depicts?
That picture is a photo taken by the police department, and it was in with the police department's report.
Did you personally see this damage?
No, I did not.
But this is can you testify to,
I did
Was this
I did see the photo.
did you see the police report?
Yes,
Was there a police report?
yes. And which I provided to the court system.
Your Honor, there is a police report
Thanks, Mama.
in the file. It is dated,
Only here.
hold on a moment, I apologize. No, I believe it's dated November. The police report is created December 5th.
On this channel, my chat and my listeners show skin in her pantsless. I keep my clothes on.
2022.
Nobody wants to see that.
Traffic accident. So I would move for admission of that police report at this time.
The entire police report?
Or just a photo is of the police report. From the police report.
I've got. If he didn't take the pictures though, and all he's saying is he saw the police report, how's that laying much of a foundation to have that admitted?
There. I will have the officer jump on
Okay.
at
All
the
right.
end.
All right.
This attorney is a hot mess, and Goggins is trying to be so nice to her.
Okay.
So nice.
Mr. McElmurray, I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you.
Can you see this picture now? Can you see it? Can you see it now? Can you see it? Can you see it now?
Mr. Johnson, any questions for Mr. McElmurray?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
So he's claiming that I need a building permit to make minor repairs.
Hold on, this is just, as long as it's a question for him. I'll give you a chance to argue and testify, but these are just questions for him right now. Do you have any questions for him? You can question about that if you want, but you got to question him.
No questions for him.
No? Okay.
birthday suit, and a tie.
Miss Doyle, any other questions for him before we let?
Yes. Does he have X-ray vision? That's a fair assumption. He said he could see.
That's slow clap for Mr. Johnson. He said, and even Goggins laughed at it. You got to go back on that one. You got to chuckle at a Goggies.
Yes. Does he have X-ray vision? That's a fair assumption. He said he could see what happened to my house through those pictures and through the police report. He knows what happened to my house, that I needed a building permit. That's a fair question.
Well, it's a little. What do you gotta ask it a little bit better than that. X-ray vision is kind of like a comic book thing. I'm not sure what that means.
So he can see through walls. I want to know, can he see through walls? He can see through wooden walls.
Go ahead. Mr. McElroy, you can answer that question, I guess.
No, I can't. Not at this time.
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Wow. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Johnson?
Nope,
Okay.
that's it.
I do, actually, Mr. McElroy, I do have a couple questions. So with regard to the work being done, the photos that you took and the work being done, did you ever go, were you allowed either on the property to inspect the work being done at all?
What's up, Kate?
No. No, Your Honor.
Is that
I was
what-
not.
Hope everything's good, Kate.
Is that what caused the notice to be sent out, the notice to cease work?
Correct.
Michael, what
On
up, buddy?
11/28, I spoke with Mr. Johnson in regards to the structure, the damage to the structure. And during that conversation, Mr. Johnson, he
Sitting, good one.
he said to me that he would comply and he would hire a contractor to pull the permit and also fortify me with a copy of the engineer's report from the insurance company regarding the damage to the house.
Okay. Have you ever seen any permits for this work?
I don't know about Michigan, but you get permits in New Jersey at the Italian American Club. That's where you get your permits in New Jersey.
At all?
No,
Just
I have
saying.
not, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any other questions. I'm sorry, Ms. Doyle or Mr. Johnson, anything else with regard to my questioning?
Yes, I do. You asked
Okay.
him that question. There's nowhere in the code, state code, or anything that says I have to, as a homeowner, ask him or show him anything of. I did talk to my insurance company, mortgage company, and the builder.
Okay, well, hold on, Mr. Johnson. I gotta follow some order. I'll give you a chance to testify. You can tell me all that under testimony, but right now it's just questions for him. That's all it is. So if you don't have any questions for him, we'll proceed. Now I'll give you a chance to testify.
You asked him
I
the
will.
question, did I show him any stuff? Where in the code does it say I have to show him that?
Okay, you can ask him that. Go ahead and ask that, but do it
That
in
is
a
the
question
question.
form. Go ahead.
That is the
Go ahead
question.
and,
Can you,
I
can you
understand, but
can-
hold on. Go ahead and let me, I gotta keep on track on one thing. Go ahead and ask the question again, Mr. Johnson, so I know what the question is.
In the code, the state code or the Montrose code ordinance, anywhere, does it say that I have to show you any proof of the damage done to my house?
No.
Thank you.
He's my hero. Mr. Johnson
Okay.
is my hero.
Okay, Ms. Doyle, anything else?
He's better than Miss Doyle. Miss Doyle's awful. She can't even get the
One
picture in
second.
focus.
Mr.
Okay.
McElmurray, can you tell me if you know? I'm going to read from the permit for building. Does it sound right? Any owner or owner's authorized agent who intends to construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, demolish, or change the occupancy of a building or structure shall first make application to the building official and obtain the required permit. Does that sound about right?
Pete, you
That
dirty
does.
dog.
That is
you.
taken right from the 2015 Michigan Residential Code, Section 105.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Okay. Given that, Ms. Doyle, call your next witness if there's another witness.
Your Honor, if Mr. Johnson's going to testify, I'll just ask him some questions. If he's not, I'll call him. It's, I suppose I
Okay.
can, my guess is he'll be testifying. I don't know that.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, are you going to testify?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Then
why don't we do it
Yes,
this
please.
way? Go ahead, Ms. Doyle. What?
Then I have no further witnesses.
Okay. All right, Mr. Johnson, why don't you raise your right hand there for me? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can go ahead and testify. Whatever you want to tell me, go ahead and start, and we'll.
So on the date of the accident, which was November 26th at 10:30 p.m., that's when the accident occurred. And Inspector Williams was correct. He did show up at my house on Monday, the 28th, and left a note on my door. I hadn't contacted the insurance company. I hadn't contacted anybody. So by the time we got insurance company involved, contacted the builder, and everybody got involved, it wasn't until late November that we had all information. And according to my insurance company, the inspector the insurance company brought in, and my builder, no building permits were required because no structural damage was done. No outside structure was done. Yes, there were some bricks on the crawl space that were damaged, that were replaced, but no supports were needed to support or shore up anything. No outside wall was 2x4s or the integrity of the structure was moved or replaced. The siding was removed because it was damaged due to the rocks and debris that hit it and replaced. But in the code, it says ordinary repairs to the structure may be made without a permit. And then it continues and it says, but such repairs may not include cutting away, which we did not cut anything away. All we did was remove the damaged blocks and replace the damaged blocks. We did not shore up the crawl space with nothing because nothing needed to be shore up. We did not remove any outside sheeting. We only removed one sheet of drywall on the inside due to all the cracking, just to verify that the 2x4s were still in their location. All spray foam was good. All electricity was good. There was some cracking through drywalls that the mudders went through, cut and cleaned and remudded. So according to the building permit and everybody that I had through my house, no building permits were required. If they were, we would have pulled them and done it properly. I have nothing against going and getting the proper permits and following the coordinates of the law. But according to the thing, it says ordinary repairs can be done without the permits.
Ms. Doyle, I guess, do you have questions for Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just briefly, sir. Let me see if I can get it there. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your home?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. And is that your home? Does that accurately depict your home on or about that November 27th, early December date?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this point, I would move for the admission of the photo from the police report.
Any objections to that, Mr. Johnson? I do have that.
It doesn't show the the complete landscaping that she hit that was in front of it. The landscaping was 18 inches tall, 2 foot from the house with large rocks all the way around it, which she hit first prior to hitting the house. That slowed her down tremendously.
Okay, I understand the argument, but as far as that photo being.
No, I don't object to the photo.
Okay. Ms. Doyle, hold it up again. I want to make sure I'm matching it up with the right photo. Okay, I got the right photo. Yep. I'll mark that, just that one photo as exhibit.
I believe it's E.
I'm sorry, E?
I believe so, Your Honor. Yes, that's what I have.
Yep, E. Exhibit E is admitted. Okay.
I have no further
Okay.
questions.
Thanks. Okay. Mr. Johnson might have a couple, if when you receive that notice to seize, oh, I'm sorry, first of all, just for my sake, I keep hearing the date and I can't quite make out the date. When was the accident? When did the damage occur to your house?
It occurred on November 26th at 10:30 p.m.
November 26th. Okay. And that's in 2022?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. And then it sounds like you were in the process of you calling your insurance carrier, whoever that is, to get insurance coverage.
Following Monday, yes.
Is that right?
We called Sunday, but there was nobody there.
And at that point, was given the accident, was there contact with the police agency? Is that what happened at some point? I gotta believe.
They were called because obviously they hit the house, but I had no contact with the police after that.
Okay. And when was the very first time you had contact with the code enforcement, Mr.
Mr. Williams,
officer,
I
Mr. McNamara?
contacted him that Monday after I got my wife home from surgery.
Okay, and the contact on your end, you said that there was damage to your house or there was an accident? Is that what you told them?
Told who?
The code enforcement officer, Mr. McElmurray.
No, he already knew about it because he showed up at my house Monday morning.
Okay, so he showed up.
He showed up Monday morning. Yep.
And at that point, did you allow him to do kind of an inspection or at least a look around and see what?
I wasn't home.
Damaged?
I wasn't home
you
when he
weren't
showed
home.
up and left a note on my door. He inspected the house on his own on my property without my permission. That is affirmative.
Okay. Would you have let him look at it?
If I would have been home, yes.
Okay. Did he ever at any point ask to look at the home?
No,
told her to ask, so he can
No.
just say that to her.
not that I recall.
What? Okay. So you proceeded to get, I guess, a contractor to get the work done. Is that true?
I did most of the stuff myself and I hired out, yes.
Hired it out. Okay. Are you? Let me. I guess I ought to ask you this too. Are you a builder of any sort?
I am in construction for 25 years, yes.
Do you have a license for building residential property at all?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm a licensed pipe fitter plumber.
Okay. All right. The work that you hired to have done, were they licensed to do residential
Yes.
work? And who was it that you hired to do the residential work?
A construction company.
Who
They
was
didn't
it?
do-
What was the
they
name of it?
did, all they did was the siding.
Oh, so and you did all the other work yourself?
I just did all the other, except for the brickwork. The brickwork was done out of a local guy.
Okay.
What up, Laura?
But the contractor that looked over all the work that gave me the estimate, he was the one that said, and the inspector for the insurance company also said there was no building permits required due to the fact of the damage done to the house was just repairs.
Yeah, well, I can't do it unless you got your insurance agent
Agreed,
here
Madison.
or
Right.
insurance company adjuster, but
Right.
when you receive the letter, this cease and desist letter dated February 8th, 2023, the one from Mr. McNamara, at that point, did you stop? I guess where was the work? How far was the work done at that point on
The
February
only thing
8th,
that was left
2023?
at that point was the painting of the room and the siding on the outside.
Okay. Did you allow Mr. McNamara on at that point just to inspect it?
Nope, he didn't ask.
Didn't ask?
He didn't request either.
Okay, so when there was this notice, let's see, postmark slide abate, if you failed.
I love how Goggins, his courtroom is just on hot mics all the time. That district is always, he always has that mic on. Look at the green box. Look at that. So he does have x-ray vision. Mr. Johnson, you are correct. According to the chat, Mr. McElmurray has x-ray vision. Goggins is
So
in
when you
deep
get
thought.
I guess when you get the letter on that February 8th, it says you're hereby notified to cease and desist all construction activity. Hereby notified that you're in violation of section 105. At that point on February 8th, what you had painting to do, and what else did you have
Mama
to do?
Siding,
tried.
the outside
Thank you
siding.
for the pants fund.
Painting and siding.
Mama tried. Braless, by the
In
way.
your mind, did you consider that construction work?
It was repair. And it states right here that I don't need a permit for painting or repairs.
Yeah, you don't need a permit for painting or repairs. I mean,
How much, just out of curiosity, the siding work was, how much of the siding work had to be done? Did you, oh, I see, I'm sorry, there are pictures.
Just
Pretty much that
little-
whole wall.
the only reason I did the whole wall is because I'm not gonna put new siding with old siding and have it mismatched, so I did the whole wall.
Sure. And that was gonna be my next question. It was mostly just cosmetic, just to make sure it all matched?
Yes,
Is that right?
yes, sir.
Cosmetic, okay. So other than what you're saying, the paint and having the siding replaced,
what's up, Gary?
you did no other construction work at all?
Nope, that was the end of my construction.
Okay. And if we say, there may be an argument with regard what's considered construction. But in your mind, the paint and siding itself was not construction. I understand the word repair. It's kind of a little bit more technical than what, but as far as what would deem construction, you're saying you did nothing else other than the siding and the painting.
Siding and the paint, that's
that right?
correct. Yup, at the time of
Okay.
cease and desist, that is correct.
Okay, so on, when you received this letter February 8th, then did you ever, at that point, did you contact Mr. McElmurray?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's stop right there then. What was the conversation you had with him about this letter? What did you
I went
tell
up
him,
and
or-
I went up and seen him. I got a little heated on my part, which I should apologize for.
Oh, definitely.
But I
would
tried
love see
to
that.
explain to him what the situation was, and he kept telling me I just needed a permit. And that was, and then I told him I wasn't getting one, and that he said he'd take me to court. I said, fine. And that was the end of that was the end of that conversation.
Okay. Okay. All right, I guess I don't, anything else you want to tell me, Mr. Johnson?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Doyle, any other questions for him based on what I'm kind of
Nothing,
asking,
Your
I
Honor.
guess?
Nothing wrong.
No? Okay. All right. Mr. Johnson, any other witnesses?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right, Ms. Doyle? Any,
Thank you, Your Honor.
I guess,
At this time-
rebuttal witnesses? Sure, go ahead.
Oh, no,
Go ahead,
no
I'm sorry.
rebuttal witnesses. No rebuttal witnesses. Just a brief closing if you have the occasion.
Okay. I guess the only thing before we close, the only question I got is I don't know that I've got, do I have a copy of the residential code that
Yes, Your Honor.
is it in the
It
file
is in
here
there.
somewhere?
It's just behind, it should be just behind the building code. The residential code, it's highlighted, section R105 permits.
Yep, I just found it actually.
And then the ordinance that adopts that code is 150.01.
Do I have, I guess,
That is
do I have
also
that
there.
actual?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Definitely got that. All right. Oh, here it is. Gosh, I'm looking behind it. I got it. It looks like 150 I'm sorry, 0.01.
Yes, sir.
And that's the only code that I'm looking at, right?
That's correct.
What you want me to
That's
consider?
correct. That is the only code.
Okay. All right, so I've got those two. I guess I don't have anything else. And get final argument for me, and then is that what we're?
Thank
Yeah.
you. If we're ready.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go.
As you can see through the testimony and through the photos, there was significant structural damage. The exhibit E shows the extent of it. And then the exhibit A shows the beginnings of the reconstruction. And I think it's clear here whether we're calling it especially if we're calling it a repair, Your Honor. It says clearly right here in the building code, any owner or owner's authorized agent who intends to construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, demolish, or change occupancy of a building or structure must get a building permit. He never got a building permit from the get-go. We didn't charge him with violating a stop work order. We didn't charge or getting a zoning compliance permit or any of those things. It was simply get a building permit, and he refused to do so. And that's the only reason we're here, Your Honor. So I'd ask that you find him. I think based on the testimony, Mr. Johnston is responsible for this civil infraction. Should be required to get that building permit to make sure everything is in compliance, and pay a fine to the township.
Come on, Peach.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, what kind of argument can you give me there?
I'm not gonna get a building permit because he's not gonna inspect nothing and I ain't paying no fine. I'm sorry. This is classic government overreach of an official that comes to my house on a Monday morning, a day after an accident. This is classic overreach of a government official trying to push a citizen like me around. I'm not gonna have it. And in that code that she stated, it states painting, wallpapering, carpentry, and other things, repairs do not need a permit. She is pushing for the max penalty, and this is classic overreach. The township is looking for money.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, where are you getting that language from? Help me out.
In that
Are
same
you looking at that
same little page that she offered,
Okay.
all the way up on the very top left-hand corner, it says there are exclusions, work permits that exclude
Yeah.
work.
So you're looking at 105.2, it looks like. The work exempt from permit? Is that what you're
Yes.
referring to? Okay.
He's heated.
Okay. Okay, I'll review that portion of the ordinance or the code as well
Mr.
for
Johnson.
you.
Hardcore.
Let me do this. Is that it for both of you for arguments?
I hope so.
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, does that cover it?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to take a brief recess. I'm going to review the code in its entirety, and I'll come back in and
Oh,
make a
come on,
decision for both of
Goggy.
you. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All
Thank
right.
you, Your Honor.
All right. Sure.
You know, I edited this, though. Come on, people. And did I? Yes, I think so. So many clips, I don't even know.
time period, November 20.
Okay. Oh, we got some clips coming up, people. Judge Coleman Hessen had a doozy. Welcome, everybody, all new
Was on
listeners,
notice
viewers.
of the
chat.
damage to this property at that time period, November 26, 2022. Do find based upon testimony, defendant immediately began making repairs to the property. It was his testimony that there was nothing
What up, Mr.
needed
Hopkins?
to be done. That was no alterations were made to the premises other than repairs. The repairs that were testified to that were made were cosmetic in nature based upon the entirety of the testimony. He did state that there were some bricks that were replaced and based upon what I've seen in the pictures that were the blocks on the outside of the wall area. For no testimony that these were supporting in nature other than the blocks to that outside wall based upon entirety of the testimony, especially from the defendant. There was final work to be needed based on testimony, some painting and siding work that needed to be done. Siding area ended up being larger in nature, just siding alone, just based upon wanting to match up the siding with what was the original siding and what had been damaged. There was a testimony that further, I do see that the notice for violations went out on this property, if I can find it again, here it is, on February 8th, 2023. You find that based upon totality of testimony as well, Mr. Johnson was not forbidding anybody to be on the premises, that just that he argued that there was no request to be on the property. It wasn't that he withheld anybody being on the property, and that specifically being the code enforcement department for Montrose Township. But notice went out on February 8th, 2023. Notice of violation says the notice is to cease and desist all construction activity. The testimony at this point was based on the alleged violations, which were at this point over 2 months already in progress, 2 months, and it was down to literally painting and siding at this point. Do find based upon Mr. Johnson's testimony, this is merely cosmetic. Do find that the notice went out if there was a true violation of the work done as far as requiring permits. It's untimely at this point. February 8th, there was cosmetic things to be done. And again, I've heard no testimony from either side that any of the work to be done was major repairs that fall within section.
Why are we watching him walking? Thanks for the crotch, Mr. Hopkins.
Show the accident itself, what left damage to the property. All the photos beyond that point were repairs made were well after that accident time period. Even the code enforcement officer has not testified that he was aware of any structural damage other than what he's seen in the photos. You find as well, this is not a resident that's been neglected based upon all that I've seen in the exhibits. There's no disrepair except for the accident that it had occurred. Clearly, it's residential owner that
Welcome,
takes pride in his
Melissa,
ownership
new
of this
viewer.
property, and was allowing the township to inspect the property at any time this work was being done. It wasn't being withheld. This notice again went out almost, well, a little over 2 months after the accident, and repairs were made. I find based upon the testimony, the repairs were made were merely cosmetic in nature. They do fall, the exceptions to the work being done, therefore, based upon all of the testimony, fall with under the code 105.2, work exempt from permit. Specifically, it's all of those items listed have detailed as far as what's been exempt. There isn't anything that suggests siding in general, but there is a portion of this particular section of the code. It says painting, papering, tiling, carpeting, cabinets, countertops, similar finish work. The work that has been testified to that is alleged to be in violation falls within that cosmetic area. Does not include any structures at this point. Therefore, case is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck to
What happened,
everybody.
Peach?
All right. Yeah, you too.
Nobody better be messing with my girl Peach. What happened, Peach? She was making randy comments. It's okay. We're talking about no pants. I put a poll up about pants. I don't know what happened, Peach. I'm not muted now. All right, here we go. Let's roll to the next clip. All right, Judge Coleman Hessen had a doozy. So remember the guy I had that was cursing her out, and I played it on my last live. Well, after him, there was another guy sitting behind in her courtroom that was also all amped up, and he starts arguing, and there's a whole case that he has, and I got that also. So let's get rolling. Here we go. I messed with Peach?
For the second bond
Absolutely
sheet for
not.
Judge McNally's case here.
I didn't say anything to Peach. Peach is my girl. What up, Brent? Okay, so look at this guy right in the back with his arms back. He is ready for war.
Voted Jennifer for the evaluation. Okay. All right, I have everyone in for Peterson, and I have also Fonville and Carpenter. So I'm waiting. We'll go ahead and start Peterson, and then Carpenter and Fonville will be brought in. And viewer. This is the case of Bradley Peterson, 22W81810.
The police court William here on behalf of the city of Whittle.
Thank you. And
Bradley Peterson, defendant.
thank you, Mr. Peterson. And then your officer in charge.
Your Honor.
Detective Lieutenant David Toller, Whithaven, please.
Thank you. Today is the date and time scheduled in this matter for a formal hearing. And the court did receive several pages on a motion for a change of venue. Did you receive that, Mr. Urick?
Your Honor, I did have an opportunity to review those motions for change of venue. And I can speak to Sam when the court indicates it's.
Mr. Peterson, this is your motion first before we hold the formal hearing. And is there anything else you would like to offer outside of the information you provided?
Well, I gave you guys the evidence. I mean, I'm tired of being the victim. I've been assaulted. I've been injured. I've been intimidated by you people. You've called me a terrorist. You said I'm violent. You said I'm assaulted. If you look on the record, you know, I've followed the rules and the laws. I am also legally, just like you people are legally.
Before we get into this case, Georgia Peach is back. My girl would never say anything bad to you, Peach, ever. You're one of the reasons why I started this channel. We had so much fun in the chats before I started this channel. Never want to hear that, ever. And I see a lot of new listeners, a lot of new viewers. I'm loving this right now. Welcome to everybody. Comment if you're just hanging out. You're not commenting. Comment in the chat. This is the great community. 221 and growing. Let's get rolling. This guy is out of his mind. Let's roll.
Well, you know, I'm the inventor of the insect virus bombs. So therefore,
I'm sorry, you're the inventor?
I said I'm the inventor of the insect virus bombs. You can contact the city of Monroe County and confirm it, where you can ask them people, say, hey, look, you know, you're not the only ones that can create things, okay? You're just not. I'm all legal. I don't do nothing illegal. Now, I've tried to plead and beg to you people for help. You've done nothing but try to send me to prison and try to take away my constitutional civil rights.
I read the comments.
I showed you evidence November 28th, 2018, I believe it is, of your own system administrator right here, Sean McEntry. He testified that somebody tampered with evidence, but you guys ignored. Now, I'm out there risking my life, public protesting. And you guys think I'm the problem. I'm not the problem, you guys are the problem. You won't investigate. I've asked you over and over, but you ignored. What has to happen for me to get some type of attention or investigations here in my case? You guys don't want to do anything? So what other options do I really have?
Mr. Peterson, I've never had any other interaction with you, but for the very first time you came to this court when it was transferred here from another court, your case was transferred here from, I believe, Lincoln Park, maybe. And I had you on probation, and that was the only interaction I've ever had with you. So I've not had any ill will or any communication with you outside of me arraigning you previously on that case, and that was several years ago. And that, Mr. Peterson, I read the transcript from Circuit Court. I did read the transcript, and there was no finding that Shane McIntyre, who is our systems administrator, did not say that the video was altered or that evidence was tampered with.
Yeah,
I read the transcript.
Learn how to read better then. Somebody tampered with evidence. Somebody tampered with evidence, and it's a known fact. You guys know it. Now, if we have to go a different route, we will go a different route. But you guys got the power right now that I'm giving you. I'm allowing you to have that power. So you guys, at the end of the day, when the news happens, you guys are going to be held accountable. I don't care. I'm dying anyway.
Accountable for my actions, Mr. Peterson.
I don't think you are, lady.
Oh, I beg to differ, Mr. Peterson.
I don't think you are. I don't think you know.
I take accountability for everything I do.
Yeah, well, take accountability for your employees that you have in here that you should be over. You should be telling them, look, you guys tampered with evidence. You guys lied on this guy. Hey, you guys should solve the problem.
No, our employees never tampered with evidence.
Yes, you did.
No, they don't.
Did.
All right. Do you have anything else to add to your motion, sir?
You guys weren't honest then. You're not honest now. No, I want a venue change. Just like I had then, I want now for the same reasons. You're not honest people. You're dishonest.
Thank you. Mr. Urick, your response, please.
It's like a big baby.
Very briefly, Your
Dishonest.
Honor, I believe Mr. Peterson's colloquy does not contain any basis under the Michigan court rules for a change of venue. And therefore, I ask as a court deny.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Peterson?
I'd still want a change of venue in this case due to you don't have no integrity in the courthouse. There's none.
First of all, don't question my integrity.
Well, it's questionable.
No.
To you, to me it is. I'm the citizen. You work for me.
I'm accountable.
Replay.
First of all, don't question my integrity.
Well, it's questionable.
No.
To you, to me it is. I'm the citizen. You work for me.
I'm accountable.
You work for me. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? You work for me. You work for us, the citizens. That's who you work for. That's who you work for. You work for us.
Mr. Peterson.
You work for us. You work for me.
Sir, I'm going to hold you in.
Yeah, so what? You're an employee.
Mr. Peterson, calm down. I haven't disrespected you at all. Please don't disrespect.
You insult my intelligence.
Absolutely not.
Of course you are.
How?
You sitting there telling me that I'm wrong, and you know you can read that you people are wrong.
And I can read.
Yeah.
And I do know the law. And your motion doesn't arise to the level that's required under the law for a change of venue, and your motion is denied. We're going to go forward and have the formal hearing today, and it is on a prohibited sign posted indicating defendant, Mr. Peterson, had signs posted on West Road and Hall Road, advised to remove by Chief Fraziak, and the defendant removed those signs. That is the allegation. It's in violation of local ordinance 110-711. Check that. Subsection 3.
What's up, Joshua?
So at a formal hearing, it is the prosecutor's burden. Prosecutor has the burden of proof. So the prosecutor goes first. The prosecutor then will offer witnesses and will question those witnesses. You will have an opportunity to cross-examine those witnesses. And then when Mr. Urich is finished proffering his case, providing the evidence that he so chooses to attempt to put into the record, you'll have your opportunity. And you will be able to testify on your own behalf. You'll be able to produce your own witnesses. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. So you can go ahead and have a seat to the chair to your left. Mr. Urich, are you prepared to begin?
Well, excuse me, Yana.
Yes.
If I can have my own witnesses, why didn't you tell me this before and stuff like that? I mean, well, I didn't bring no witnesses today.
Because you're representing yourself, you're held to the same standard as everybody else is in this courtroom. And if you chose to have witnesses, today's the date to have them. Today's the date for the formal hearing.
And well, I think that's prejudicial, but.
So, but you can have a seat and Mr. Urich will call his first witness and I'll give you an opportunity to cross-examine that witness. Do you need a legal pad of paper to write on?
No.
All right.
Do you need
Mr. Urich?
Do you need drawings?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. People would first call Chief Scott Francis of the Woodhaven Police Department.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm under penalties of perjury the testimony you are providing today for purposes of this formal hearing will be true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and beliefs, to help you God. Thank you. Please be seated. State and spell your first and last name for the record, your department and rank.
Scott Fraziak, SCOTTFRACZEK. I'm currently the Chief of Police with the Woodhaven Police Department.
Thank you. Your witness.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Chief Francis, in a very brief way, can you please summarize your duties as the Chief of the Woodhaven Police Department?
I oversee entire operations within the city of Woodhaven to include the operations of the police department and enforcement laws.
Thank you very much, Chief Francis. And as chief, are you still a certified peace officer under the rules and regulations of the state of Michigan?
Yes, sir, I am.
Very well. And as such, you can act as a witness and investigator, notwithstanding your administrative
You're welcome for this case, by the way. You're welcome.
capacity.
Yes,
Is that
sir, I
true?
can.
Thank you. So can you please describe where you were and what you were doing on or about November 23rd of 2022?
The day would have been a standard operating day within the Woodhaven Police Department. I don't know what day of the week it would have been. Mr. Peterson was out front on the southeast corner of the city of Woodhaven property conducting his protest. At the time of the incident, Mr. Peterson was waving a Confederate flag as he always has during his normal protests. However, on this day, he had several, at least two, if not more, 4x8 sheets of material with signs posted on them, and they were erected on the public easement of the city property. At that time, I was informed by the zoning board that although he was permitted to protest, the signs were prohibited from being posted on that public easement without a permit. At that time, I proceeded out to Mr. Peterson where he was protesting and advised him that his conditions of protest were okay, but that he had to remove the signs.
Erected.
He informed me that that was public property and he had the right to publicly protest peacefully. I agreed with him. However, I informed him that the posting of the signs they had out there for his protest were in violation of the ordinances adopted by the zoning department.
Like crazy.
I also informed him if he refused to move the signs, that he would unfortunately have to be cited with a violation. At that time, he informed me, go ahead and cite him. I proceeded back into the station to get the code numbers and language to provide to the front desk to have an officer go out and cite Mr. Peterson for a municipal civil infraction. Sergeant Jackson, I believe it was Sergeant Jackson at the time, now Lieutenant Jackson, issued the citation, and Mr. Peterson requested it be placed on the windshield of his vehicle parked in the parking lot.
Thank you very much. And Chief Franzik, when you indicate 4x8, is that inches or feet?
Feet, I'm apologizing, 4x8 feet.
Thank you. And when you suggest erected, how, if in any form or fashion, were these signs affixed or anchored, or how were they staying up?
They were standing and propped by, looked like two legs on each side of the device in order to prop it up to be visible by traffic or pedestrians passing in that location.
Thank you. And it's your testimony that while you witnessed this incident as you have described it, it was in fact now Lieutenant Jackson who ran the citation and signed the citation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And was there anything else unusual at that moment other than what you considered to be a zoning violation committed in your presence?
Not at all.
All right, I have nothing further on. Save for redirect.
Thank you. Cross-exam.
No.
How are you?
Good. Are you familiar with the Constitution of the United States?
Absolutely.
Does every citizen have a constitutional right over any state, in any state of the United States of America? Do they have the superior right over the law to public protest?
Absolutely.
Then why are we here today?
As I informed you earlier, it wasn't the issue of your protest. It was the prohibition of signs on the public easement without permit.
And was I blocking anybody at any time?
That wasn't the issue. The ordinance language was very specific that no sign shall be posted on public easement without an authorized permit by the city. That's it.
Does a citizen have a right to public protest without a permit?
But yes, the issue wasn't your protest. The issue was your signs erected on the public easement on the corner of West and Home.
And you just said without a permit.
The signs, not the protest.
But you said without a permit, correct?
The signs without a permit, not the protest.
What's the difference?
They're different versions of law that's drafted by the powers to be within the city of Woodhaven that find it necessary to draft language for those specific ordinances, not the protest, but the erection of signs on
No
public
erect
easements.
signs,
So would that be
please.
singling me out for a lawsuit?
No erect
Are
signs.
you familiar with the lawsuit that I have against the city of Woodhaven in the
Yes.
state of Michigan?
Yes,
So would that be reprisal? Are the tickets reprisal for the civil lawsuit I have against you?
absolutely not, Mr. Peterson.
Are you familiar with April 18th, 2022 public protest in the city of Woodhaven? Same place, same exact signs. Matter of fact, I had more signs out there.
I'm unaware of that, sir.
If the court can you Google it? Can you Google it on your phone or something? April 18th, it was Easter. I did a public protest. I think Officer Tooth or Sergeant Tooth.
It probably was Chief Toth at the time.
Oh, was he a chief?
Yep.
Well, Sergeant
Sergeant
Tooth at that time, specifically in the videotape, April 18th.
This guy is an absolute moron, Sergeant Tooth.
2022, stated that
Your Honor, I'm going
he
to
did
act
not.
on the basis of both relevance and hearsay.
What's evidence?
Whatever former Chief Toth said is classic hearsay. And secondly, I don't know how it's relevant to these proceedings, which are concerning a virtual snapshot of activity on November 23rd of 2022. Thank you.
Well, Your Honor, the reason why. Did I just start protesting yesterday, or how long have I been protesting?
Well, hold on a second. You have to respond if you want to Mr. York's objection.
Okay, right. I respond to his objection because it is evidence. You said I had a right to provide evidence to you, to show you, and that's right there in black and white, and it's on videotape. Chief Tooth stating that I had a constitutional right to do what I was doing with the same exact signs out there. And actually, I had 2 or 3 more signs than I previously had with
Chief Tooth put his mouth all over my erections.
with you.
Was that at the same location, Mr. Peterson?
Same location, same exact location. Matter of fact, if you look at it.
I have to rule on the objection first, and then you can ask the next question, and the witness cannot ask questions of the defendant. Your objection is sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead and ask your next question.
Okay. How long have I been publicly protesting, if you know? How long?
Several years, if not more.
Years?
You can't handle
Well,
the
since your
truth.
case was in 17, at least a year, 2 years, possibly 3.
Wow.
I don't keep track of the dates you're out there.
Tommy's in the
Do
building.
you keep track of the tickets that I've received? How many tickets have I received so far?
Other than this one, I don't know.
Your Honor, can I show this ticket right here to you? I got yesterday, I believe, I got it
Your Honor, I believe the court.
for evidence.
I may interpose an objection.
I
believe the court has sustained my previous objection, which was based both upon hearsay and relevance.
Thank you,
Whatever
Eddie.
happened prior to November 23rd.
He just said yesterday, so this
Yesterday, this is a ticket.
subsequent to, so, okay.
This is a ticket you just wrote me yesterday for a public protest in right here. You know, so this is the second ticket that you wrote me.
I apologize. I thought you were referring to in the past. I didn't know you were referring to the current one that you had that was cited yesterday. I thought you were referring to the past from your previous protest.
Okay. The point being is that I have evidence of this is the second ticket. In 2 years, to me, or to any reasonable mind that sit and looked at the situation, it looks like reprisal because I filed lawsuits against you and I call you, you have no integrity, you're dishonest, and you guys don't like that, which I understand. I wouldn't like it either if I was in your situation, although I would investigate my complaints that you guys seem to ignore. But so this is the second time that you wrote me a ticket for public protest, correct?
No, for prohibited sign posting.
Okay, well,
He's not a soft sit. He's just an idiot.
I have a constitutional right to public protest, correct?
Yes.
You don't dispute that.
Not at all.
You just dispute the signs.
Yes.
Now, is it correct that this ain't the first time I had signs out there? Do you agree to that? No, it hasn't. Do you agree that I've had signs out there for 2 years?
Okay, it just needs to be clarified, because as it was initially asked, I would say your objection is sustained, asked and answered, but he was continuing his question and clarifying it. Go ahead, Mr. Peterson.
Is it the first,
Erect signs, don't.
it's not the first time I've had signs out there. But yet, these are the first times that you've wrote tickets upon me. I have other officers, chiefs, I guess he's an ex-chief, Tooth. And it's on, you can Google it, April 18th, 2022, statements. He never gave me any tickets whatsoever. You know what I mean? So it's looking like I'm being punished because I filed complaints against people that are corrupt. Can you explain that? Why now am I getting tickets? Why wasn't I getting tickets before? Can you explain that to the court?
I was unaware of those times, Mr. Peterson. I've never been out there when you've had signs posted other than these two incidents, that one back in November and the one yesterday. As for the other signs that a former police officer or chief addressed you on, I have no knowledge of that.
So you as a department don't cooperate with one another and let one another know right hand, left hand? Or you guys keep it secret?
Intimate details about 24-hour operations? No. Or minute details, I should say, about 24-hour operations, 7 days a week? No.
Now you knowing that this public protest has been going on for 2 years, has at any time, have you investigated why Mr. Peterson is public protesting out here, risking his life to get assaulted and injured?
Your Honor, may I object on the basis of relevance?
Mr. Peterson, what is the relevance?
Well, you as an officer, when you in common sense, when you want to investigate why somebody is doing something,
investigate.
You know, if somebody go out and commit murder, don't you want to say, hey, why did that guy just kill all them kids? Why?
Sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You know what I mean? Don't you want to know? Did you ever investigate why?
Why what?
Public protest is occurring.
Your Honor, it's the same objection. I don't know that Mr. Peterson's aware that same line of questioning is objectionable due to the relevance objection you did sustain.
He was continuing his question, which ended up being a compound question and somewhat narrative. But the question that was just asked differs in the sense that he's asking, did you investigate why he was protesting specifically? And for that, I'm going to overrule the objection and allow the answer. Thank you.
You weren't committing a crime, so what was there to investigate?
I filed complaints repeatedly.
And I'm only limiting that question to this offense that we're here for today.
Okay.
In other words, did Chief Frasiak investigate the circumstances behind your reasoning for protest and sign placement for the incident that we're here for today? So that's the scope is limited. For prior, objection was sustained as to relevance.
Do you know of anybody else out here that is risking their life to public protest to file a complaint? As a matter of fact, how can any citizen file a complaint to your office and get it heard? How? I mean, if you ignore it, if you ignore plaints, how can any citizen be heard?
I don't understand the question.
Do you know of any complaints that I personally have filed with your office or your police stations of any crime that has occurred?
If you're referring to the lawsuit, I'm completely aware of that, Mr. Peterson.
Are you aware of the fact that I'm making allegations that the City of Woodhaven 33rd District Court employees are allowed to tamper with evidence?
I'm aware of your complaint, yes.
Have you at any time investigated, had any internal investigation whatsoever in your department of my case?
A lot of you like erections.
Refer back to the records, but I believe the incident was investigated and was unfounded as to whatever your allegations were, but I'd have to look into the particulars of that. From if what you're referring to is back in 2017?
Yes.
I'd have to look back on that. I don't have that information in front of me right now.
Semi-erect cassette.
So the second ticket that you wrote me, now.
We're only here for the first ticket, but if you, I will allow you some leeway in asking about the second ticket, but you're not here to litigate the second ticket, just so you understand. You're only here for the first ticket. The second ticket hasn't even been processed into the system yet. It was just yesterday.
Okay. My main point is that you trying to say that the Constitution of the United States doesn't overrule the City of Woodhaven ordinance. Is that what you're saying, sir?
All I'm saying is there are ordinances drafted within the confines of Woodhaven that we're obligated to enforce.
That are
if they override, then a court would have to decide whether those are unconstitutional or not. That's not for me to decide. That's for a court to decide.
So you as a police officer know the Constitution of the United States, correct?
I do.
And you were saying to me on record that the City of Woodhaven ordinances
What up, Mr. Morley?
Are superior than the Constitution of the United States,
I saw you in my boys chat.
What are you saying? You got the Constitution up here.
I don't see a conflict with it. I see them as two different issues.
Is he still
You see it's two different issues?
Frauditor? Follies?
Let me ask it this way. Does the Constitution of the United States of America overrule any state ordinance or any state laws? Yes or no?
If the law is drafted and held to its standard, then no.
So you basically,
unless the court rules otherwise.
So you basically saying that the court can overrule the Constitution of the United States?
I don't understand where you're going with this question, Mr. Peterson.
It's the lower
legal
courts.
conclusion. So this witness is not a lawyer and cannot provide a legal conclusion.
Okay, well, you're an officer. You've been an officer for how many years?
32.
And is this the first time you ever seen this happen?
What?
Public protest.
No.
What?
How many tickets have you wrote out of 32 years you've been a police officer on public protest?
None.
This is your first time?
I didn't draft those.
You what?
I didn't draft those tickets. I haven't written any tickets.
Who wrote the tickets? Or
Officer Wise yesterday, if you're referring to that one, and Lieutenant Jackson, if you're referring to the previous incident.
Okay, well, so you never personally wrote none of the tickets?
No.
Okay. Why ain't they here? Are they here or what? I mean, do I got a right to speak to them? I mean, I'd like to speak to the people that not only wrote the tickets on me, that I have a right to question, because they're saying something against me, which is not true. But being that you here, and you're saying on court record that the City of Woodhaven courthouse overrides the Constitution of the United States. So therefore, why do we even have a Constitution then? Why don't we just do like Trump said, get rid of it? You know?
I don't understand.
What does the Constitution of the United States matter then?
Your Honor,
if you don't go by those laws.
If I may interpose another objection, Chief Francis has been called to place into the record the elements related to a size restriction within the Woodhaven City Code. He is not a constitutional law expert, although he is quite familiar with the Constitution. But that being said, I would indicate that due to valid time, place, and manner restrictions that have been upheld by all 50 state Supreme Courts as well as the United States Supreme Court.
You are fake news, sir.
The discussion related to constitutional rights is irrelevant and is an improper line of questioning related to a size of sign city ordinance, which is the issue at Bay for the courts.
Do you have the ordinance before you, Mr. Urick?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Peterson, have you seen the wording of the ordinance yet?
Yes, I have.
Does the court wish me to?
No, I've already seen it.
I wanted to make sure that Mr. Peterson had it. I'm sure you'll provide it to me when the appropriate time arises, but I just wanted to make sure that he had an opportunity to see the ordinance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Any other questions for this?
Yes, I do. Now, since I've been protesting, do you know of any incidents where I've been assaulted and injured from citizens? Are you aware of any of that?
Yes, I don't know about injuries.
So you are aware of me being assaulted?
2 incidents where you were confronted or a confrontation occurred, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And was anybody convicted for assaulting me or anything that you know of?
I don't know the outcome of those cases, Mr. Peterson.
Okay. Are you aware that in my public protest that violence does follow? But it happened.
I'm not muted. That was my stupid thing. All right. Since I love everybody, I'm sorry, guys. That was my fault. We're going to take an intermission here, and I'm going to show you the news report. I listened to my chat. Kent, thank you very much. I looked it up. So we're going to show you the news report because this is pretty serious. It's really pretty serious. Here we go. So let's watch the news report. It's a quick news report on what's going on here. I'm going to show you the news report, then we'll get right back to the case.
With more from that man and how police are responding. Randy.
Hey guys, that display was set up Sunday morning and taken down later that night. It definitely turned some heads here in Woodhaven. I caught up with the man who was behind it. Take a look. White crime pays, Black lives don't matter, and a white privilege forever sign sat outside the Woodhaven Police Department Sunday alongside a partially burned Confederate flag. Wow. It was a jarring sight that drew a lot of concern. This Facebook post about it was shared 1,000 times. You're saying this about Woodhaven PD?
There he is.
Well, Woodhaven PD and the white man in general.
Bradley Peterson, who's Black and Native American, is behind the display. It's a protest against Woodhaven PD, with which he has a long-standing beef stemming from an arrest at the 33rd District Court in 2017.
No! I was kicked out of the courthouse for calling the judge a twice, which I did. The police officer approached me, asked me for ID. Yeah. I stuck my hand in my pocket to give him ID that he asked for, and he threw me to the ground and arrested me.
Peterson was charged with assaulting a police officer. The charge was dropped and later reinstated after Peterson filed a $200 million lawsuit against Woodhaven PD in 33rd District Court, saying he was assaulted by police, wrongfully arrested, and maliciously prosecuted.
What do you say to that message that he's trying to communicate?
That's absolutely inaccurate. His statements don't reflect the values of our department, our officers, or our community.
Woodhaven Police Chief Robert Toth says Peterson has protested the department before. He normally wears the signs, but this time he set them up in front of the police department.
I believe that his message is falling short. I think that he's offending more people than he is gaining support from.
Toth says Peterson violated city ordinances in doing so and was uncooperative when officers informed him of it. Even so, he says they were careful to not escalate the situation further.
Our officers pride themselves on not getting into civil litigation over violating a person's rights. And in fact, the ironic part is we are upholding his constitutional rights to allow him.
Oh, that's a really erect sign there. He loves holding his erection. He's really got a handle on that erection.
To express his statements, even though his statements are directed at protesting us.
The police chief could not comment on that arrest back in 2017, citing pending litigation. As for Peterson's protest against Woodhaven PD, it's something he's been doing for a few years now. No sign that he plans on letting up. Roop, Amy?
So not likely then that he'll face any fines, Randy, and he'll probably be back out there again?
Well, he could be fined for breaking or violating those ordinances. But so he took him back down that same night. He may be protesting again, but perhaps not.
Wow. All right, here we go. So now we know why, and we saw his erect signs. So let's get back to the case. So now we have Mr. Erection here.
Before, correct?
Yes, sir.
Does the public protester mean, do I have a right to self-defense? And to what degree? If somebody throws a bottle at me, do I got a right to pull out my 9mm and shoot him in the head?
I believe you're a convicted felon and can't possess a firearm, Mr. Peterson.
Well, that's been 30 years ago.
So?
I don't know what the status of your gun rights are, but a convicted felon cannot possess a firearm unless their rights have been restored.
Well, can I use some homemade weapon to defend myself?
You can use whatever force that is necessary and required to defend yourself. Yes, I wouldn't dispute that.
So why haven't I? I'm the one being assaulted out here in public protest. You've called me a terrorist. You've said I was violent and assaulted.
First is, the question assumes a fact, not an evidence. I don't recall Chief Francis calling him a terrorist. Secondarily,
That objection is sustained.
The question calls for speculation. Why hasn't this man defended himself with homemade weapons? It calls for speculation.
Objection is sustained.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I've been out here public protesting for 2 years and nothing has occurred other than me being victimized and assaulted and injured. What would be the better way to get your attention in a public protest? To do it your way. Let us hear your suggestion how I can be heard or get my complaints heard.
I have no suggestions.
You have no suggestions? Do you believe in violence? Do you believe in solving issues in violence?
No.
So if violence did occur, would you be held accountable for any violence?
If I was responsible for the violence, yes.
Well, are you instigating and provoking violence? Denying me my constitutional right to public protest?
No.
To your opinion?
Sorry, Your Honor. Again, it assumes a fact, not an evidence, that his rights to expression have been violated. There's no evidence of that.
That objection is sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I, as a public protester, have the right to be violent?
No.
Then why do other people have the right to be violent towards me in public protest? Why do people have the right to intimidate me, to write me tickets, knowing that I've been publicly protesting for the last 2 years, but now all of a sudden you guys found the grace of your integrity to write me tickets to try to stop me? Let me ask you this. Do you think I'm gonna stop public protest?
No, sir.
Do you think that I'm afraid to go to prison for the rest of my life?
I can't speculate. I have no idea.
Well, you said you knew my history.
I do know your history. I don't know the future.
Well, am I violent?
You have been.
Can I become back violent?
I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Are all men killers?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
Mr. Peterson,
You
hold
know.
on, we're only here for
This guy's
civil
crazy.
infraction ticket. It was cited for prohibited sign posting. Size, location, whatever the case may be, I'm waiting to hear from the prosecutor as to the specific ordinance. Not here to determine whether Chief Frajak.
I love Judge Coleman Hessen, but she's a little too interested in the size of his erect signs.
Believes all men are killers or not. This is a civil infraction issued to you in the city of Woodhaven, November 23rd, 2022 for prohibited sign posting. I want to give you a fair opportunity to ask this witness questions, but this is far beyond the scope of why we're here today. So go ahead, if you have any more questions for this witness, feel free to ask them as long as they're relevant to this particular citation.
Well, he already answered the questions. Like I said, you believe that the city of Woodhaven has some type of magical ordinance rights over the Constitution of the United States. I don't believe that personally.
Thank you, Lita.
And
Welcome.
You know, don't get me wrong. The United States of America is for you people anyway, to begin with. But who knows? You know, in the future, we might be back in court. So it's my constitutional right to public protest, and I'm not going to stop public protest, but I'm not going to be a victim no more. So you guys got the record. You guys understand what's going to happen. And I'm not going to sit back and tolerate city of Woodhaven lack of integrity. You guys don't want to investigate the case. You guys are always trying to turn things around on me.
Peterson, do you have a question for this witness?
No further questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
None, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down. Any objection to me allowing this witness to leave the premises if he so chooses?
None, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Peterson?
Excuse me?
To release this witness?
No, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Urick, go ahead and call your next witness.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. The people we call Lieutenant Alan Jackson.
Swear or affirm under penalties of perjury the testimony you are providing today will be true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please be seated. State and spell your first and last name for the record. State your rank and your position and department.
Woodhaven Police Department, Lieutenant Alan Jackson, ALANJACKSON. I am in charge of our night shift.
Thank you. Your witness.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And Lieutenant Jackson, how are you currently employed?
Is a lieutenant with the City of Woodhaven Police Department.
Thank you. And where, if anywhere, did you receive your law enforcement training?
I went through Owens Community College in Ohio, certified as a police officer in Ohio, and then transferred here into Michigan.
Thank you so much. And in total, how many years have you been a sworn peace officer?
22 years.
Thank you very much. Directing your attention to November the 23rd of 2022, please describe to the court what your duties were in conjunction with your position with the police department that day.
On that day, I was actually a sergeant. I was on our day shift. I was at the front desk. I was speaking with our lieutenant.
Very well. Yeah. And at any time during the day, did Chief, then Deputy Chief, I believe, Scott Franczyk, approach you, and was there a requirement of an authorization of a citation?
Yeah, I was up there talking with the lieutenant. Chief Franczyk came in and requested that I write a violation to Mr. Peterson.
Did you in fact write such a citation?
Yes.
Do you possibly have it with you?
It's in the case file.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
First, show Mr. Peterson the documents that you have if he hasn't already seen them. And yes, you may.
Yes, sir.
Now, Lieutenant Jackson, do you recognize a citation there right now that you've reviewed.
Yes,
and is your signature on that citation?
Yes, it is, right at the bottom.
All right, very well. And specifically, what is that citation seeking to enforce or prohibit?
It's for a prohibited sign and the municipal. Yep.
And please briefly describe the prohibited sign city code and why a particular sign could be found non-compliant.
Can I look at the?
If that refreshes your memory, yes.
Okay. It basically, in a nutshell, says you have to have a permit to have a sign on public property.
Very well. And was it your understanding that signs had been placed on a public right-of-way on November the 23rd?
Yes, sir.
And do you know the approximate size of those signs?
A sheet of plywood size, 4 foot by 8 foot.
And do you know what dimensions those signs were made into? How large they
4
were?
foot by 8 foot.
Okay. And were the signs affixed in any way or propped in any way for display?
As I drove by, they were just there. I'm not sure how they were affixed. I was in a car.
They were standing upright?
Yes.
They weren't laying in the grass?
No, not laying in the grass, sitting upright.
Okay. And when the citation was prepared, how, if in any way, was it served upon the defendant on this civil matter?
Per the deputy chief at the time, he said that Mr. Peterson requested I fold it up and stick it in his wiper on his van that was parked in front of our station.
Very well. I have nothing further on
your wiper.
Cross his name.
Here we go.
Your officer. Now you said that you was told to write me a ticket by who?
The deputy chief.
The deputy chief told you to write me a ticket.
Yes, sir.
Now, before the deputy chief told you to write me a ticket, was you concerned about my public protest?
You're up there frequently. So was I concerned? No.
So you had to write me a ticket by order, not because you wanted to?
No objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Your response?
I believe that the officer stated that he was told to write a ticket, and I don't, I've been public protesting for quite some time, and if he knows of that he never wrote me a ticket. He had to be told from a superior officer up here to write me a ticket. Or excuse me, is that guy a superior? Was the guy that was the officer that told you to write me a ticket, was he a superior officer?
Deputy chief at the time.
So was he lower than you in command or higher?
Deputy chief higher.
Oh, deputy chief. Okay. But prior to that, have you seen me out there public protest with signs?
With signs? No. With a flag, yes.
With what?
With a flag, yes.
Yeah. Now, have you ever wrote me a ticket other than being ordered to write me a ticket?
Objection, relevance.
Other words, the relevance is, did you willfully write me a ticket or did you do it by your order?
Objection is to relevance is sustained. This is a different question.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Did you do it willingly or did you do it because you was ordered to write me a ticket?
I willingly wrote you a ticket, yeah.
You willingly?
Yeah.
But you was ordered to write me a ticket, correct?
Not ordered, asked.
What's the difference?
There's a big difference between asking and you're ordered to do something.
From a commanding officer?
Yeah.
Could you have said no?
Absolutely.
Are you familiar with the Constitution of the United States?
Yes.
Does every citizen have a right to public protest?
Yes.
Then why would you deny any citizen his right?
Your Honor, again, I interpose an objection. This is not a content-based discussion.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Hold on one moment, please. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, one at a time, place and manner. The constitutional content line of questioning is to the city ordinance and the testimony as it has been developed.
Any other response?
I believe it is relevant. I mean,
The objection is that the city ordinance that we're here for today doesn't amount to a constitutional violation, is what Mr. Urick is saying, in that we're here today for this ordinance. I need to hear what your response is.
so how can an ordinance override the Constitution of the United States? I mean,
Part of the problem is, Mr. Peterson, is that it's not necessarily overriding. It's not overriding the Constitution. So it's the constitutional right to a peaceful public protest. And then each city and each community and each state can have ordinances with respect to their easements, their property, sign placement, location. You may be able to, for instance, wear a sign if you're properly on in an area that is open to the public on which you can peacefully protest. But by placing signs or affixing signs, and this is the argument of the prosecutor as to why you were issued the ticket, that can be determined by local ordinance. So your position here today isn't necessarily, well, I know what your position is, but you also have to address, did you have signs? Were they on a public easement? And did you have a permit?
so how?
Because they're saying you were there, you had signs, they were on the public easement, and you did not have a permit. And that flies in the face of their local ordinance. That's their allegation. So for you to dispute that, you would be showing me through witness testimony and your own testimony, either you weren't there, you were there, but you didn't have signs, you were there, you had signs, but you had a permit. Those are some examples.
So, all right. So you are aware of my public protests and stuff like that in the city of Woodhaven for a long time?
Yes, sir.
For how long do you think I was public protesting?
I have no idea, sir.
Are you familiar with the April 18th, 2022 public protest?
No, sir.
K4 in the house.
Are you
What up,
aware of
bud?
any assaults
you gotta
or
watch
any
this one,
injuries
brother.
that has
Rewind.
occurred upon public protest in the city of Woodhaven?
No, sir.
You're gonna love this one, K.
So, so do you think that I'm going to stop public protest?
I can't answer that, sir. I have no idea what you're gonna do.
So how would you resolve a problem in public protest? Is what you're saying? So the citizen has to go get a permit to put billboards down on your guys' corner or something? You got to have a permit, correct?
According to the ordinance, yes, sir.
According to the ordinance.
He's definitely neither a grower nor a shower.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, he's running out of steam.
Any redirect?
Just one redirect.
The meth is wearing off.
Pardon me, but Lieutenant Jackson, it was already in the record, but just to reiterate, are you aware of any permitting process that this gentleman engaged in with the city of Woodhaven to put his permit application in front of the signboard and or to receive city commissioner, city council approval of the size and location of his signs?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
Thank you.
How big were his erect signs?
At any time of my public protests for the last several years that you know of, have I ever been violent? Have I ever assaulted anybody that you know
Not to
of?
my knowledge, no.
Thank you.
All right, you're all set. You're free to leave. Any objection to me releasing this witness?
Yes, Your Honor, if people have no more witnesses and if people have no objection to Lieutenant resuming his duties.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Do you have any witnesses?
yes, I do, Your Honor. As I stated, my witness is on Google, April 18th, 2022. It's on Google. The deputy, Tooth, I guess he retired or something, I don't know. But Officer Tooth, it's on Google. All you got to do is look, ask Google, April 18th, 2022, public protest, and it's on the news, and it extremely says right there that I had a constitutional right to public protest. Whether you guys don't like that in your citizen community ordinance, I'm not going to stop. I just got another ticket, and it's just going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger till everything comes into a different form. And
replay.
I'm not going to stop. I just got another ticket, and it's just going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger till everything comes into a different form. And then it's going to be out of you guys' control.
Mr. Peterson, are you
Russell,
calling
thank you,
yourself
buddy.
as a witness? So I have to swear you in
Well,
to testify.
Well, I would like
Because
to.
Google, I can't do this added step of trying.
Well, can I go get my phone?
Because it could be deemed hearsay. It would be deemed hearsay.
What, on the phone? I mean, it's news. That you saying that would be hearsay?
As to this particular day on November 23rd of 2022, as to whether you were there on the property and you had signs, if you had signs, the size of the signs, the location of the signs, and whether you had a permit on that date. That's why we're here today for civil.
I love you, Judge Hessen, but stop with the size of his erect signs.
Fraction.
Well, I'm trying to show you evidence. You said I had a right to present evidence.
You do.
Then I can go out and get my phone.
It has to be in accordance with the court rules.
Well, the
rules
court
of
rules.
evidence.
Well, it is evidence. Like I said, April 18th, 2022, the other Sergeant Tooth, I guess he's not there no more, retired or whatever, but he stated that it was my constitutional right to do what I'm doing. And he did not write me no tickets, but now you guys are writing me tickets, and it's reprisal for civil lawsuits and complaints that I file against you people. Now, I understand you guys don't like it. Of course you wouldn't like it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be called a liar and say that I don't have some degree of integrity. You know what I mean? I'm a criminal. I admit that I'm a criminal. Fuck, I'm a killer. Okay. I admit that.
Let's
you know what I mean? I don't care.
Back up. Watch your language.
Well, I admit it. So what?
You did a great job keeping your temper down and presenting your questions. But in your admission is one thing. I need to know if you're going to be testifying. I need to have testimony, relevant testimony as to this particular date. I know what you're trying to show to me. This isn't a jury. I understand what you're trying to show me, that back on April 18th of 2022, that you were on the news and you were protesting according to what you said, and that Chief Toth at the time said that you had the right to peaceful protest in the public. This is not for that time. This isn't even for your protest. This is for signs that were placed without a permit.
It's showing,
not the fact that you were there and protesting. I just want you to be clear.
Yeah, but it's showing evidence of reprisal, because you guys know I got a civil lawsuit against you, and it's reprisal. I'm being punished for filing civil lawsuits and complaints. I don't understand why you guys ignore my complaints. What has to happen before you guys sit back and look and say, you know what? Wow, we could have solved the problem. But guess what we did? We ignored this complaint and this man, and then the federal agents, U.S. Marshals, going to get involved, and they're going to come down here and they're going to ask you guys, hey, did you guys do this to this guy? Oh, no, we didn't do it to him because it's our law. Yeah, okay, it's your law. You keep thinking that. You already see violence has occurred and happened in my case, a public protest. This ain't the first time, and it ain't going to be the last. Okay, and you try to intimidate me with tickets and threats. It's not going to work this time.
Would you like to testify?
Well, I just did.
Well, I need to swear you in, so then you would be, you don't have to take the stand, you can stand right where you are.
Yeah, that's what
But I
I
need
did.
to swear you in. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty
Oh,
of perjury, the
boy.
testimony you are providing will be true
Here we
and to the
go.
best of your knowledge, belief, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. All right, state your name.
My name's Brad Peterson.
Thank you,
Brad
Mr.
Thomas Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. I've heard you. I've listened to what you've had to say. I want to give you an opportunity under
Hey, Lenny.
oath to answer some questions that I may have, Mr. Urick may have, but before we even get to that, any other statements that you would like to offer with respect to the allegation that you were on the property on November 23rd of 2022, peacefully protesting, but without a permit for the signs that were there? That's the allegation.
Well,
Location and size of the signs.
Well, that allegation is absolutely true. I've been down there for years. It ain't the first time, just that one day. It ain't one day. I've been down there for years doing the same exact thing, but that one day makes the difference. No, I've been doing this. You want to close your eyes? Okay, close your eyes. But things are happening around you that you should try to have control of, you know, in respect of. I've been publicly protesting, you know. I've been found complaints against the city of Woodhaven and authorities.
You've been placing signs in the public easement without a permit, Mr. Peterson.
I've been doing that. It ain't the first time.
Did you do it on November 23rd?
I've been doing it every day that I can.
On that date specifically?
On that day, I was down there and they wrote me a ticket for auto reprisal. Like I said, I feel that I'm being punished for filing complaints against the state of Michigan and the city of Woodhaven authorities.
On that date, how many signs did you have?
I believe I had 3, but now I got 8 that's going to go down there in a couple of days.
Are they 4x8 signs that were testified to by the other individuals?
They might be 4x6.
Okay. Did you create those signs yourself?
Yes, I did.
And where did you have them located on November 23rd?
I had them located where no citizen was walking. I was not hurting anybody's access to go to the police station or to walk on any sidewalks. I respectfully respect all citizens' right to walk around. I didn't block anybody. I didn't curse nobody out. I didn't threaten nobody. I've always been a peaceful public protester, even though I've been assaulted several times and injured in the city of Woodhaven, and that's on record. But I've always been peaceful, and I've tried to be that way. But now I'm getting these tickets of intimidation because of appraisals of civil lawsuits that I filed against the state of Michigan and city of Woodhaven. I'm not going to stop public protests.
Did you have a permit for those signs that you had on November 23rd of 2020?
No, I didn't. And I don't really, even if I went down to even try to get a permit, I don't know if they will allow it. Actually, I don't know. They might allow it. I never tried to go down there and get a permit because I've always felt that it's my constitutional right to public protest, whether you like it or not.
You can publicly protest. You have to follow the ordinances of each city and community, not just Woodhaven, but any, and with respect to the size of the sign and the location of the sign. So if you're within the size guidelines that are offered, the mandates, and you're in a place or a position where it's not on a public easement, then you would be permitted to do so. But you have to have that permit. You have to have a permit.
There you go, Michael.
Well, at the end of the day, like I said, I was not hurting anybody's access to walk around. So the public, the citizens were not harassed in any type of way in my public protests, other than the signs, you know, of course, and the Confederate flag flying. But there is really no problem. I think the city of Woodhaven is trying to make a problem. And once it gets bigger and out of hand, then you guys are not going to have no control. And
You haven't tried to go to the city hall to see what the size requirement is for the sign or where you can be situated to abide by the ordinance?
No, I haven't done that because, as I said, I believe that the Constitution of the United States, plus I'm native Indian, so this is my land in the first place. You white people took over everything. You don't own nothing, you stole it, okay? Legally, everything, every crime that you've ever committed was legal. You guys always put legal in front of everything, okay? Even the Constitution. Now you trying to downplay the Constitution of the United States. Like you guys have superiority over the Constitution of the United States.
No,
I don't believe you do.
You have to compare apples with apples.
Yeah, well, apples and
Not
oranges
apples with
still grow on the
oranges.
tree. African mix, but this country belongs to Native Indians, and I can do what I want in my own country. You guys need to go back to Europe, where you come from.
Mr. Urich, do you have a closing?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
Do you have anything in closing?
Very briefly, Your Honor, I would just indicate to the court that as has previously been intimated multiple times, and most recently, we can go decades after the Fighting Words Doctrine and to granted the city of Rockford, 408 U.S. 104, 1972 case, which indicates, quote unquote, the crucial question is whether the manner of expression is basically incompatible with the normal activity of a particular place at a particular time. Time, place, and manner restrictions can and will withstand intermediate scrutiny. And under Ward v. Rock against Racism, 1989, the specific test is content neutrality, narrowly tailored, serve a governmental interest, and leave open ample alternative for other channels of communication. Mr. Peterson had every opportunity to apply for this sign. He had every opportunity to speak in another form or fashion. I believe that under both Brainerd and Ward, the city ordinance as drafted is constitutionally firm. And I believe for that reason, the people have borne their burden of proof. It is the sign, public easement. He, by his own statement and admission under oath, he indicated saying, and a permit was not pulled. For that reason, Your Honor, I believe the people have borne their burden of proof of a preponderance of the evidence, which is the featherweight test, as some of the law professors refer to it. And I would ask that, this is not a question of guilt or innocence, but I would ask that the court find Mr. Peterson responsible for this civil infraction. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have that ordinance section now?
Yes, Your Honor, may I approach?
Please.
And I apologize, I did make a note up in the left-hand corner that's just 11/23, which is the date for my own memory. So I apologize for putting that note on there.
Section 110-712, correct?
Affirmative.
Edward, correct. Where's that turtle keeper? Your turtle probably has a higher IQ than Mr. Peterson. Guaranteed. What is Hessen going to do? I don't even know what the heck this case is about. Is this about the $200 million?
What section
Here's
are
an
you
Easter
referring
tase.
to?
Thank you, Dave.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
What section?
Specifically, the citation indicated 110-713, requirements relative to height, area, and height.
I only have 12 and 11.
Oh, I apologize, Your Honor. I don't have a paper copy, but I can recite it to the court.
Hold on a second.
There's an entire
grid of sizes.
Well, it was written 711 subsection 3.
110, 713, subsection 3. No
So I
sign.
have section 110, 711 subsection 3, which is on the citation, no sign except those established and maintained by the municipality, county, state, or federal governments shall be located in, project into, or overhang public right-of-way or dedicated public easement.
Affirmative. I'm sorry. Yes, 110, 711, subsection 3. Not
Okay.
713. I apologize for the confusion.
So location of the sign.
Affirmative.
Size was not written in this particular, is prohibited sign posted 110-711 subsection 3. But there isn't any mention of any size on this particular citation.
Overhanging public easement, I believe.
Overhanging, correct, but.
That's correct.
In other words, Mr. Peterson was saying it was 4x6. Lieutenant Jackson and Chief Frajek believed it to be 4x8, but that doesn't make a difference for purposes of this hearing at this point, meaning there's a difference in the size that's been testified to because it was written as an overhang onto a public easement and in violation of subsection 3 of 110-711.
That's correct.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson, what do you have to say in closing, sir?
Yes. As I stated, I've always publicly protested in a peaceful manner, and for years, mind you. This is the first time that this has occurred. I've used same signs on many different occasions, and I've never blocked anybody's amusement or any public man or woman that wanted to walk or whatever. I never interfered with any of their walkway. So I never hung the sign up nowhere. It's always been on the grass. So it's never up hung. It was on the grass, and it wasn't no affixed fixture, and nobody walks down there anyway. Actually, it's right down by the road where cars go by. So no citizens walk on that grass anyway to begin with. Right down there by the sign, the Woodhaven sign. So there's no citizen that walks down there. So I wasn't bothering anybody. And this is what don't make sense. Now, if I was bothering somebody, I could see that you guys could have maybe reasonable complaint against me, and then I would have to, work with you guys. But this is just a blunt reprisal because of civil lawsuits and it's racism. As I said, I'm Native Indian. It's my land any damn way. At the end of the day, read your history book, No further questions.
Oh, thank you. There's also basic requirements for special event signs.
No further
but
questions.
It goes into
He wasn't asking questions.
any man shall not be mounted or otherwise secured in any manner that will avoid creating danger to the public, distraction to drivers, dangerous traffic movement, or create inappropriate stress on components or electrical services that represent a potential hazard to the structures and/or public. But that's 712, and it's in a definition for a temporary sign.
It wasn't.
Based upon the testimony that I have, the evidence I have from both prosecution witnesses and the defendant himself who testified, I am going to find you responsible for prohibited sign posting placement for overhanging into that public easement. That is a public easement. It's dedicated and marked as a public easement and especially without a permit. Size, I don't have anything here that would prevent you from having a 4x6 sign if you had a permit and if you were in the proper place. Your protest, I don't have anything here showing that you shouldn't be protesting because you have the right to a peaceful public protest, a constitutional right, which Chief Frajak agreed to, as well as the other constitutional rights. The problem here is that ordinance. So in the event you're choosing to continue your protest, and I'm not preventing you from doing so, as long as you're doing it peacefully, constitutionally, and in abidance with the local ordinance requirement as to the placement, where you are with the signs, to make sure that it's not on a public easement or that you get a permit to be able to have those signs. So you've got to a little bit adjust maybe where you're standing with those signs, not your body, but other signs and the placement of the signs. So that is my ruling. And Heather, I need the civil infraction fine.
Can I get an autographed copy of Black Law Dictionary? Get out of here.
All right, Judge, let me get back to his screen. I think I went off his
matter. There
Sorry,
we
I'm
go.
big screen. Let me get to his.
There we go. That was a great.
It is 135.
Here we
for the
go.
prohibited.
$135 is the total. Mr. Peterson, do you need time to pay that?
How much?
$135.
Well, actually, I want to tell it.
You have that right, and you would be able to appeal, and the appeal for a civil infraction would go to Judge McNally down the hall.
Nice.
And you would be able to have this case heard anew there.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell it.
You are all set, and you would fill out the appropriate paperwork for your appeal. And you can do that with a form down the hallway. And
we have the clerk's office.
Exactly. You're all set.
Is that going to affect us?
Temporarily pending appeal, though, I'm going to make the balance due on or before May 1st. On or before May 1st.
What am I doing?
He has a paper bag.
Then you would be receiving what's called a show cause. And then you would have to come in for a show cause and show cause why you weren't paying or why you have an inability to pay. And then I would make that determination.
What about a jury trial? Do you guys right to jury trial?
Not on a civil infraction. This isn't a criminal charge. This is a civil infraction.
Well, how many times, because I got another ticket too, so how many times can I do it where I can get a criminal charge and then we go have
Well,
a jury
I
trial?
don't think you want to have a criminal charge. No, I don't think you do. But what you've done is not a criminal action. It's a civil infraction violation.
For now.
Mr. Peterson, I wish you well, sir.
Oh, he's going to be back, people.
Thank you for your patience, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Here we go. Let's
All right,
roll.
I need Mr. Baldwin.
Let's roll. Here we go. I got two more beautiful clips for you. Swearing in court. Swearing in court. And we also have a celebrity or the daughter of a celebrity. Let's roll. Good old
But I don't think there's, I
C-TAC.
mean, he showed up for another court and then just didn't want to go to court anymore. And I have spoken to him previously, but he's in the general population, so I didn't think there's any issues. So, and currently the
my
offer
girl,
doesn't get him
Kitchen
out
Court
until
Cases.
next week
Go
as it is anyway.
subscribe to
So
her channel.
we can
We'll
set
set
it next
this over.
week.
We'll set this over till Tuesday then.
For now.
Probable cause was previously found on January 4th, and bill remains $500.
Judge green screen fail.
This is Miss Jessica Wetstein, 3A03
Oh, boy.
33996. Officer, it's muted. We are asking to have her evaluated under 1077 based on the conversation I had with her. I saw that she'd been evaluated a little while ago and found competent, but based on my conversation today, I believe it's necessary.
Based on my conversation.
An officer, it's still muted. I'm not sure.
Ms. Wetstein, there you go, Ms. Wetstein. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Freund. Oh, what a fascinating name.
Oh, thank you. And you pronounced it correctly.
Yeah. I've not ever spoken on one of these video conferences ever, believe it or not.
Well, today's a day for firsts.
Yeah, hello, good morning. Well, first I want to say you don't have to stress. Good morning, Prosecutor Chen. It looks as, have Mandarin family maybe? Chen? She's smiling. She's smiling.
Yeah, first of all, I do find probable cause to detain.
She was Mandarin.
Good morning, sir. We spoke yesterday, or this morning? No, it's 4-2. It's
Yes.
Yes.
I'm one of the public defenders. My name's David.
Oh, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
I'm gonna get blasted in
And
the
is the city
comments for
seeking
this.
bail?
I don't have any money. I just want to talk about the situation because this is to do with September.
She goes, I have no money.
I'm not going to talk about the facts of the case because today is not a fact-finding hearing. It's just a hearing, really a procedural hearing where the city is sort of saying officially what they're accusing you of.
I'm looking forward to communicating with you. I want to say, you know, I don't want to interrupt you. I'm just saying I'm thankful to communicate because I wish it had occurred to me sooner. Oh, the Port Authority of Seattle would be relevant because I was concerned about the September 11th incident. However, there were a lot of concurrent similar incidences that, you know, that I thought were from ham radio interference.
Just one moment. I need to ask the prosecutor a question. Ms. Tenweller, is the city seeking bail?
But he does have concerns regarding defensibility to reappear. However, I don't see any history at this point as far as a basis to request bail or bond.
It's complicated because my mother was Grace Kelly. She was murdered when I was born, and they gave me a false name. And so it's complicated. I say things perhaps praying that could seem confusing if it's possible that, I don't know if there's some sort of a thing that detects my prayer. Or, you know.
I'm gonna set this over then to June 6th as a return date at 8:30 in the morning in person in SeaTac Municipal Court. Mr. Ainati, are you seeking direct appointment?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I will direct appoint. Ma'am, you'll be released on this case today, but you need to stay in contact with Mr. Ainati's office. Someone's going to come talk to you, or they're going to set up an appointment for that evaluation. Okay, so you'll need to know when that's happening.
Yeah, I love it because, you know, that's a lot of what it is. If it's possible to communicate, is the what is it called? It's overwhelmingly optimizing, you know, because that's exactly the problem with the hams. It's impossible to communicate. The hams.
Before that happens, you cannot go back to the airport.
No, I'm not worried about any of it. I was completely compliant. No,
Okay, no going to the airport, the rental car facility, and no new criminal law violation.
I don't have money or anything, so I really can't do anything anyway. I had a passport, but it's, as I understand it, that's a false name anyway.
So as I said, June 6th at 8:30 in the morning will be your next hearing, and you'll need to come physically to SeaTac Municipal Court for that hearing, okay?
We'll be there.
All right. Maybe I can get a document so I can make note of it.
Or we'll give you a copy of the order.
Okay. Good.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Woo. One more, and then everybody better be decorating their Easter eggs, because I gotta go. One more. This is a goodie. Just listen to what this guy says. Oh boy, here we go.
The DCF appears by and through Mr. Getz. Mr. Seaworth appears in person and pro se. Ms. Bobbitt also appears in person and pro se. Now, we were last here actually some time ago on July 22nd. I think there were concerns at that point regarding service. I see that personal service was obtained on January 23 of 2023. And subsequent to that, there has been no answer filed or other responsive pleading filed in the case. I believe the original petition for support, which was filed in August of 2021, sought support in the amount of $333 a month to be effective September 1 of 2021, and that the matters otherwise are in line with what I had explained about recent service, and no answer yet appearing in the file. Counsel, is there anything else that you wanted to add from the DCF perspective at this time?
No, Judge, no answer after residential service. Default is appropriate. We are asking $333 a month. The big one then would be a judgment in favor of mother, $6,660. That's $333 a month for the 20 months this case was pending. And we would ask for her to carry health insurance and claim the minor child every year for taxes.
All right. Mr. Seward, what's your perspective on the proposed finding of the court? The idea being that by virtue of default, I should make orders in line with what the DCF had originally sought in the case.
That child is not mine, actually. But I not home very often, so I never really got the paperwork to be able to file a motion to be able to go against it, because it said I had 21 days to petition. By the time I got it, it was past the 21 days.
Well, I'm showing, I thought that you had, let's see. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, and when I say you're right, I mean it was residential rather than personal service to you directly. Ms. Bobbitt, what is your position on the best way forward on the case at this time?
Honestly, I don't really care about the money. I do know that the child is not his. If he signs his rights over, I'm good to call it done.
It's Elmer Fudd.
Okay, so this is where I get involved, Judge, and bring the law into play. He is named on the child's birth certificate. The child is over 1 year old. The time for him to petition the court to remove his name from the birth certificate expired after 1 year. And as far as signing his rights away, that's not something that's possible unless there's some other gentleman who's going to step in and act as the father through a step-parent adoption.
Actually, my boyfriend has actually been the one that she calls dad. He's the one that's been helping me take care of her for the past 2.5 years or so.
So not really relevant. Again, he's named on the birth certificate. He is the legal father by statute. So I again ask for $333 a month in judgment.
So there's nothing I can do, even though I'm literally not her father.
Well, I think that the challenge, as the DCF attorney explains it, has to do with the statutory frameworks and the time that has run. And so I think that the position of DCF is that indeed they believe they've made their case and that I should make this finding. Is there anything more you wanted to say, Mr. Seward?
No, I guess just fuck me.
Well, I would appreciate it. And I know it's
boom
emotional day and circumstances that aren't what you were hoping to hear, but I need you to use, even on a Zoom call, appropriate language for court. And I admonish you, please, to do that as we go forward. Mr. Seward, I don't know that there is anything that would move me to consider going forward in any ways different than what the DCF is proposing. But in as much as you explained that you had some inability to file an answer by virtue of having gotten the notice actually in hand after the time to file had run, I will continue this case one time to give you an opportunity to file any answer or responsive pleading or motion to file out of time with the accompanying pleading to further make any things known that you wish to make known. But I do want to wrap this up, hopefully at the time of our next hearing. And I will give you some time to do that. I will set this over to May the 12th, 2023.
Welcome to the
at,
Nerd Herd.
2:00
Dave.
p.m. And you need to have filed a motion seeking to respond out of time and any motion that you think the court should consider by that time. And from there, I will intend to make rulings, and I am not setting aside the prospect that I might find, just as DCF has asked me to today, that by default and with the factors that have been discussed, you should be found responsible under the terms and conditions that have been outlined. So I'll give you that chance if there's something you think is relevant to further plead in the case, and we'll reconvene on that May 12th date at 2:00. Are we on the same page on that, sir?
Sure. You said May 12th at 2:00?
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. And Miss Bobbitt, does that date and time work for you, ma'am?
Yeah.
All right. Look forward to seeing you both back here then, and you'll be able to.
Okay, guys. Happy Easter. Thank you very much for everybody. Thank you for the support. Hope to see you all. Make sure you guys, I saw some people, have Passover to my Jewish fans. Happy Easter to everybody else. Make sure you give your loved ones a kiss. I'll be at Mass in the morning. I appreciate everybody. Love you all. Have a good night. Have a good Easter. See you on Monday. You've been served.